Hello, my name is Kyle. I'm currently studying painting and printmaking at the Glasgow School of Art. I'm in my 4th year. Basically, I wanted to make this video to kind of document and show people what I've been working on for the course so far. At the start of 4th year, you're basically, the whole thing as it's drilled into you, that degree show is this big end of the year thing that you're working towards the whole of 4th year. And it's kind of, I think from 1st year, it's kind of been drilled in that this is this big thing. Lots of people are going to come, lots of people are going to see it. It's kind of your chance to show off the best work you've got. I think there's a lot of pressure put on students a little bit to perform. But yeah, so I thought it might be useful for other people maybe in the same boat or wanting to study art. It might be useful for them to see what I've been doing, at least. I don't know. And it's interesting for, well, I hope it's interesting. I hope it's interesting for everyone else who's just interested in what I'm up to. So basically, yeah, the theme of this year for me has been looking at old family photographs, like family photographs specifically, ones that sort of evoke a bit of nostalgia, a bit of happiness. It all started basically as we're at my gran's house, me and my brother, and we were looking through sort of like old photographs that she brought down in this big like dusty blue duffel bag, and we were looking through them, and it was, I think what sort of struck me was how naturally good the photographs were, like without trying. It's not, I think because I've been interested in photography, and every photo I take, in the back of my head I want it to have like a good composition. Like there's photography terms that are sort of a little bit ingrained in my head, so when I'm taking a picture I'm looking at trying to keep like negative space, rule of thirds, like all the buzzwords. You sort of think of it and you want to capture a good photo. Whereas with disposable cameras back in the day, there was no second thought. It was just point and shoot. There was no intent to just capture a photo that is compositionally correct. It's just capture the moment. So I was really drawn to this. One that stood out the most to me was a picture of me as a child. I'll put it up on screen. I was sitting on my grand's kitchen counter and I was baking some sort of cakes. It was a Bob the Builder mini muffin mix on my lap, and it just kind of struck me as a candid moment that it was simple, it was meaningful, there was something about it that had nostalgia, it had like innocence, it had a lot of things that just made me feel kind of happy a little bit. It's hard to sort of word it, I think, but I thought people maybe would appreciate it as a painting, as I thought people would maybe relate to it, they'd kind of see themselves in it. To me, I've got all the connections of, I know it's in my grand's kitchen, I know it's me, I know, all the memories that I have in that kitchen in the house, and still do to this day. I don't think it really matters as a viewer. You can kind of just see it and relate to it a little bit. It's just a boy making some muffins that's not overly complex, which I think is quite relatable and familiar, and it's kind of easy to appreciate. So yeah, I seen that photo and I thought that would make a great painting, so I did. I was going, I think it was August, September sort of time that I done it. I was just going into 4th year. My 3rd year, I was a bit all over the shop. I didn't really know. I wasn't, the whole time I've been at Glasgow School of Art, I've been a little bit all over the shop. I've never really had a set structure, a set theme, a set anything that I was going for. I've just kind of done what I was interested in at the time. So I didn't really have anything going into 4th year, and I wanted at least one painting to kind of spark a little bit of interest, a little bit of just ease myself into it. And this was the painting, and it just kind of, yeah, it ignited what I wanted it to ignite. So it was really good. So I was really happy with that painting. That first painting got quite a lot of good responses. I was really happy with like how people sort of viewed it and seen it and related to it. And I thought the best course of action after that was to basically do another, find another photo that worked and that would translate into a painting that people could maybe, you know, see themselves in. So the next one I picked was of me as a toddler again, which was a common theme at the start. It's a lot of me as a child. The second one was me as a toddler, and it had one of my mum and dad's cats in the background. It was sort of like sniffing or eating flowers that were on the table, and you could see out the kitchen window, the living room window, sorry, in my house, and it was all backlit, so the cat was all silhouetted, and I really loved it again with the composition, with the storytelling in it, and me as just like a troublesome toddler, just like you can tell I just ran in the room, just stopped, froze, and someone's took the picture, and I just thought that would make a good painting again. So yeah, I painted it. So this one again got quite good response. A lot of people kind of related to the universal themes of it. A lot of people sort of like the houses in the background. They could kind of place it in their heads. They know it's probably the UK, given that the houses are quite familiar. Some people, like if you grew up near around me and stuff as well, it's instantly kind of recognizable. But I was really sort of encouraged by that. I'd done like a few crits and stuff and spoke to people at the uni, and they were all saying the same sort of thing. The same themes kept coming up about family and nostalgia. It was a lot of discussion about architecture and how making a house a home. I thought it was interesting. It's just a lot of things that I wouldn't have expected going into it. Yeah, it was just a good response I was encouraged by. So yeah, at this time that I was painting these two paintings, the theme that I thought I was following was to do with nostalgia and to do with the time that it was set in. I thought this project was going to be about like the early 2000s. I thought it was going to be about how people and things have changed coming into like the 2020s. I done a painting of the cat again. I think it's Naz, my mum and dad were saying it was called. And basically the focus of that painting was the old sort of retro vintage look of everything that was, obviously it was modern at the time, but now you can kind of date it. So there was like a lampshade that you wouldn't probably find anywhere else today other than a charity shop, or the wallpaper, the telephone, the mobile phone, the landline phone that no one really uses anymore. It was kind of fit and set and dated in the early 2000s, which as a standalone painting it kind of worked out pretty well, but I don't think it was the sort of direction I wanted to take this project. It just wasn't the same reaction that the ones of me, the toddler and all that sort of thing kind of gave people. So moving forward, it was quite interesting to learn that it was a people project. It was about relationships with people. It was about how you can relate to these people, how it's the presence of people that make these paintings feel a bit more alive in a way. It's not just about nostalgia or how like sort of time passes. It's about sort of little moments that shape who we sort of are. So yeah, I thought it was a good learning curve. Yeah, moving on from there, having learned that it was more of a people thing, I started painting. I've started looking at photos that I took that kind of related more to this theme. I also looked back at the old photos. Like I went back to my grand's house and looked at them with a different perspective, and the photos that I'd kind of glanced over meant a lot more to me. I looked through my old family photos that were in my house and the lofts and all this kind of thing. I went to my other grand's house and stuff as well, so I got a lot of different perspectives of the same family. So it was interesting to see it's all the same people, but they're in different moments, different times, doing different things, but it all feels sort of the same. It feels like a good way, like warm and homely. I'd done a painting of my mum and dad that had quite a good reception. It was when they were younger, probably about my age now, about 20, like early 20s. And it felt quite meaningful because it helps you sort of realise that your mum and dad were also kids once. Well, it helped me anyway. It was just nice to see them sort of young and in love. Not that they're not anymore, but it was nice to see them. I don't know, it was nice to, I think when I paint something at least, I spend a lot of hours with the photo and you kind of feel more familiar with it. It was just like an insight to early their relationship, which was nice. I think the universal theme of that painting was just sort of young love that a lot of people resonated with again. I'll flash up some more images on screen, but basically a lot of the work moving forward was I was leaving a lot of features out that might have been key features. So things like the wallpaper, stuff like that, I was leaving it blank just so people can maybe fill in the blank themselves. So hypothetically, if someone grew up with a hot pink painted living room walls or something, maybe they could kind of fill it in their head so they could relate to it a bit more. It was just sort of like leaving space for the viewer. So yeah, after that I took the step of, it was quite a big step for me to paint my relatives that were sadly no longer with us. The first one I did was of my pop, who is my mum's dad. He unfortunately passed away when we were quite young, like me and my brothers. So we didn't really get to know him personally, I don't think. We know him, but it's through stories, like secondhand maybe accounts, which is interesting. It's a sort of a sad reality of life. But I think painting these photos helps you kind of bridge a gap between the memories and imagination. I painted these paintings larger than I did before. The first ones were sort of average in scale, maybe only like the size of my head, a bit bigger, whereas these ones were starting to grow quite large in scale because I wanted it to kind of have a bit more larger than life presence, which kind of related to how we felt about my pop. Like he's always been there, even though he hasn't a little bit. He's kind of been with us in our hearts and our heads and stuff. It was interesting to kind of paint him bigger, so he's kind of a bit hanging over us. It relates to it, I think, quite a bit. Yeah, I was thinking of naming this project Common People. The name sort of reflects the heart of the series, which is just like normal working class people doing normal things, like just average everyday moments that are kind of taken for granted a little bit. I think it highlights the beauty of just like ordinary, simple lives. You don't really see a lot of it in kind of mainstream media, where everything's sort of focused on celebrities and just larger than life moments, like unnatural. Sort of social media, I think's programmed our brains to thinking, you know, a lot of things are normal, whereas a lot of these paintings are just, it's a painting of my dad just blowing out birthday candles, or there's ones of just me and my brothers just cutting about as toddlers. I think these things are what life is sort of more about than having a yacht or having, you know, a private jet take you everywhere. It's not natural, it's not normal, it's not obtainable, it's not, you know, all of these things. So I think having a series of paintings that focuses more on the everyday person highlights what isn't really highlighted in mainstream media. The painting series is to invite the viewer to reflect and take more things for granted, I think, which is just an interesting concept. Basically, yeah, the most recent painting that I've done is of my gran and my cousin Laura, and this I think is my most successful one so far, because I think I've fully grasped well, not fully grasped. I think I've come more to understanding what this project is about. As I said, starting off, it was just about nostalgia. It was just about a little bit of it was just like a nostalgia time trip. Whereas now it's more of a people project, and there's a bit of like class commentary on there, like being working class. I think this project sort of has come a little bit to, it's starting to blossom, I feel like, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah, this painting I've done of my gran and my cousin, they are at the Delft Pond, it's a pond in Tullibody, near where I grew up in Scotland, that my gran would always take me and my brothers to when we were there. We'd feed the swans, we'd play at the park, it's all really fond memories now in hindsight, and at the time as well, we were all having a lot of fun. I found this picture of them too, and it was calm, it was quiet, it was natural, it was everything that I kind of wanted for the project. So I painted it really large. It is 100 centimeters by 75 or something, I think. It's big. It's really big compared to every other painting that I've done so far, and I'm really happy with it. My main sort of thing about it is that I don't know for the viewer if it's worth me explaining the story behind it. I'm just trying to work out whether I should make it personal and tell people the story behind the characters, or not, the people in the paintings, or if I should just leave it up to interpretation to the viewer, if that's more beneficial to the viewing experience. I don't know. That's something for me to work out as I'm making more paintings. I guess I'll just wait and see. But I'm really happy with how this project is going in whole. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to finally actually put it up at the degree show. And to be honest, I don't actually know what I'm going to be doing for the degree show, because there's a lot of pressure on it. I think a lot of people, it's always a question that you kind of get asked, what are you doing for your degree show? Have you got any ideas? I'll probably just kind of display a bunch of paintings, I think. I don't know if that's wrong. I don't know if what I'm supposed to do is like make a big grand spectacle of, make it an experience. Like as you walk in to the room, it's sort of in your face. There's lots of things that I don't think that's me. I don't think that's me at all. I remember last year, 2024, it was the first degree show I'd actually went and looked at and walked around. And I remember just kind of being blown away with the scale of what people have done, like in a good way. There was a lot of, like, people had transformed the whole room into like a big experience. Like there was tents that you could walk into and you were kind of in a different world and all this sort of thing. But yeah, I think the beauty of my paintings so far is that they're quite humble. Which is quite ironic for me to say. That's not really humble. It's not really humble for me to say that, but I think the paintings in themselves are quite humble. It's just a snapshot of everyday life. So I think what I should do is just have them up on the wall, invite people to come and see them and make their own minds up about it. So anyway, that's basically a bit of an insight to what I've been working on so far. If anyone's got any sort of ideas or, anything about my work at all, I'm open to any comments on my project. I feel like it would be really helpful and beneficial if you did want to comment below. But yeah, anyway, I hope that kind of helped anyone who's in the same position as me. looking for something, hopefully I can watch this video back after I finish degree show, and I think it will be hopefully quite beneficial or quite nice in hindsight, but I don't know, we'll wait and see. Anyway, yeah, thank you very much for watching, and see you later. Bye.